Following George Romero's box office failure, The Crazies, Romero wanted to write a film based around the idea of literary monsters and their orientation in our culture. How he wanted to create a film that showed that the monsters in literature and film will always be a part of us and try to understand it. Romero viewed monsters in media where they were actually meant to be a purge of society's demons, and he didn't agree with those ideals. He wanted to show us as the monsters, warts and all. The character of Martin was originally a much older man, and there was less implication and more explanation that he was in fact a vampire. However, after Romero viewed a Pittsburgh production of Philemon, hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, with actor John Amplas, he rewrote the role to fit Amplas's age as well as the ideals and personality that came along with it. The movie was filmed in the Pittsburgh area, with many of the supporting cast being friends and family of the main cast members. Romero originally wanted the film to be in black and white, but fought with the producer on it, and it was decided that the film would be in color, but the dream sequences or memories, depending on who you ask, would be in black and white. It was eventually released in 1978, the same year as Romero's much more famous Dawn of the Dead. It received mainly positive reviews from critics and audiences, but with some detractors stating it was too violent and pretentious. Romero later went on to state that this was his favorite film out of his entire filmography. In terms of films like this, I must look at it in the eyes of the world and the background. This is sort of going to be an accidental sub-theme throughout this month when we look at some classic monsters. While the movie itself in terms of plot is genuinely fantastic, I more so focus on the lore and how George Romero evolves this classic monster into something of his own making. With this, I think he majorly succeeds with Martin. So the movie is about a kid who thinks he's an 84-year-old vampire, and with this, sedates and kills women by drinking their blood. Throughout the entire movie, we are left questioning on whether he really is a vampire or if he's just mentally unstable, as well as questioning whether the fantasies he sees in terms of the old school ideas of classic monsters, seducing women and torch-carrying mobs, are just that, fantasies, or in fact memories from earlier in his life. While the pacing of the film is very slow, I think Romero still manages to craft an intriguing film, because in a way it seems that it's like a slice of life film, but the life in question is of what we assume is a vampire. The supporting characters manage to be very memorable, like Martin's apparent cousin, Kutta, who also believes he is a vampire, and he inherited a family curse, and his daughter Christina, who wants to help Martin. In terms of vampire lore, Romero ditches any of the previous conventions and states many times throughout the film through Martin that all of it is bullshit. Garlic, crucifixes, and other such protection from vampires don't seem to work, and I find that idea to be very interesting, but mainly if done right, and it is. It's almost like in a way that Romero is starting this myth from scratch and building whatever he thinks works or is intriguing for the myth he is creating. This is one of those movies I cannot help but recommend it, and I think it might be my second favorite Romero film I've seen, only behind Day of the Dead.